Hello, hello, Changemakers. Sandra Madaffrey here with another podcast interview. And tonight I have the amazing Cheryl McLeod. She said to me, like McLeod's daughters, here with me, coming all the way in from very sunny Queensland. And I have to say, I'm a little bit jealous, Cheryl, because it's quite rainy and cold down here in Melbourne. So Cheryl, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do and how you got to doing what you do.
Okay, well, many years ago, when I was a bit younger than I am now, I started watching Tony Robbins stuff, and I did 4 of his courses, and it just basically changed me. But I did find that when, once it wore off, I kind of started getting back to how I was before. So I found out that what he did was based mostly in NLP, and I started looking around for NLP courses, and I started doing BNI. And who's the first person I meet but a guy named Cameron, who you know,
Yes,
and he teaches NLP, timeline therapy and hypnosis. And I just went, I'm in.
Yeah.
And so I did my practitioner course first, and then I did my master practitioner the next year. And then I started doing some work with some friends and family. And I just, because of the changes I had myself from, because when you do the courses, you actually work on yourself as part of the course, so you learn how to do things. So I had such immense change, and because I had the knowledge behind it, I was so excited at how simple such massive change could be. And I don't know why or what it is, maybe because I wasn't in a room of thousands and thousands of people. I was either, in a room with just a small group. And then when I work with the clients, at the moment, it's like one-on-one. So I think with when it's one-on-one, you get more of a lasting, because you get that, because it's like what I like to do when I coach or mentor people is I like to tailor, like it's not just a one-size-fits-all course or a one-size-fits-all coaching. It's tailored to that particular person, their particular issues. And I find that when you work with like that you have a lot more lasting change. And you could ask people who knew me 10 years ago, even after I did the Anthony Robbins stuff, and they would just tell you that I'm a totally different person for the better now that I've done it. And my partner, he reckons if I didn't do it, we probably wouldn't be living together now.
I can believe that. And yeah, the reason, there's a couple of things. I do know Cameron very, very well. We actually did trainers training together. So that's where I actually met Cameron. And the thing is, with those big seminars, they're great. They really are good. But the thing is that to really create lasting change, someone needs to get really into your neurology to do that. And that's what NLP and timeline therapy especially, and hypnosis does. And like Cameron, I do like to do small classes as well. And you've said exactly why. Number one, because I've got make sure that I know where everyone's at, what they're doing, if they need extra help. But number two, it does allow myself and my assistants in my training to be able to take really good care of everyone and make sure that everyone had a really big transformational shift in the class. So some really great and valid points to listen to. So you said you're working with one-on-one clients. Tell us a little bit about what you actually work with and who, and what you actually do.
Okay, so I decided that because I had I had a good childhood, but I've had some shitty things happen to me. And also having had friends my age have shitty things happen to them, or bad lives, whatever, everybody has issues. And so I decided that I had such phenomenal breakthroughs and massive change. And all I kept saying to myself was, I wish I learned this before. I wish I knew this before. And so my hope is that I can get to women before they get too ingrained in their shit. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, I hear
But
you.
it's
Exactly the same.
yeah, and because the longer you're in it, it's like, at least with timeline therapy, it's still relatively quick to get out of it, but it's kind of like a thing, the longer you're in it, the longer it could take to get out of it. And why waste another 10 years? Why waste another 20 years when you could be living your best life at 35?
Exactly.
Instead of waiting until you're 55 before you start really seeing what it's all about. And I've found that so working with women like 35 and onwards, a lot of them are having empty nester issues, or even people who have their kids going off to school for the first time. Even kids that, like, when your kids are still at school but they don't really need you anymore because they've got their group of friends and everything like that. Some people get really, I have seen women break down over their kids leaving home, whereas I was like, yeah, get out. But it's hard when you spend most of your adult life looking after your kids, perhaps looking after the husband, then the kids leave home, God forbid you may get divorced, or you may not have the kind of relationship you want with your husband. And you're at a loose end, you don't know what to do with yourself, and you start thinking, and quite often what you're thinking is not good stuff.
Yeah.
It's like one of the main power blocks for a woman is feeling the lack of worthiness and being unlovable. And so there's things that you can do and techniques that we can work on. And I like to tell people, like you probably tell people the same thing, is that I don't do things to you, I work with you. And so you're part of the process of making yourself feel more confident, doing more self-care things for yourself. Once your kids have left home, if you don't need to work, if you haven't needed to work, maybe you might want to study something. Maybe you have an interest. Maybe you have had to work the whole way along because you've had to pay for the kids' schooling. Maybe you can cut down and learn to do something else, or find a job that's more fulfilling. That the options are endless, the possibilities are, it's just out there. And a lot of people, but most especially women, I suppose I notice women because I am one, they mostly think, oh, but I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Or I'm too old to do that now. I'm past it. Well, you know what? I'm 58 now. I've still got another 9 years that I have to work if I want to get a pension, which who wants to be relying on a pension?
Exactly.
But to me, even if I only had 3 years to work, to find something that fulfills me and makes me want to get out of bed every morning, it's well and truly worth doing it.
Do you think it was interesting because you said the I'm too old. I've heard that as well. And I'm not that far behind you, Cheryl. We've already spoken about that when it comes to age, right? But I haven't announced yet, and I'm not going to until I'm ready, what I've actually started doing in the background. But, where have we in society decided that when you get to a certain age, you're too old to do something? Like, where's that come from? Because it drives me crazy. I actually think I'm better off doing things now because I've got so much experience behind me, and I can cope with everything so much better.
Yeah, I'm so much more confident now. I'm so much I don't know. When I was younger, I just wanted money so I could feed the kids and do this. So I did anything and everything. Now I'm doing things that I love to do, things that really light my fire. Because who wants to live that dull drudgery where you just get up and go to work and go home and eat and sleep and do it all over again the next day?
Autopilot.
And with that, I find that my personal relationship with my partner, my relationships with my friends, they're all so much richer for that.
Absolutely. So what you've just described, would you call that feminine power?
I think, to me, feminine power is like, it's not the old bra burning and male bashing and stuff like that, which a lot of people have said that when other people talk about feminine power, I've heard people say, oh, go burn your bra or something like that. But that's not what feminine power is. No. Feminine power is more, well, to me, it's more like having that confidence, having that self-reflection, that self-care, self-love, and just being your authentic self, instead of putting on a mask for this person and a mask for that person, being comfortable in yourself and being comfortable to be the person that you are and do the things that you're passionate about and want to do. It's just like getting right down into your deepest place and finding what you truly desire and are truly passionate about.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what it is to me.
Yeah, beautiful. And the interesting thing is that I often sit here and I think, I'm sort of, it's an endless journey, but I'm sort of in a place very similar to you, where I do feel confident and I have grown a really good business and all those sorts of things. And sometimes I think, would I have ever been here without NLP? And I have to say that I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where it all came from. And the timeline therapy, getting rid of all those negative emotions.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd be sitting around over a cuppa or a glass of wine or 7, whinging about my life, blaming everybody else, and it's really, really sad and horrible to be in such a negative, being at the effect of everybody else and what other people do.
We're not taught how to be any other way.
No, that's how we're brought up. That's what, and something that people don't realize is that from the ages of 0 to 7, what's going on in your life, you are not really aware of a lot of it, but that's what's imprinting in you those negative emotions and those negative beliefs about yourself. Like, someone could just throw a careless comment to you saying, oh, a bit chubby round the belly there when you're 5 years old, and next thing you're 12 and you're anorexic. Just from someone saying that to you, because it's something that your unconscious mind has picked up. It's believed that it's true because somebody of authority in your life has told you, and it's taken it on as a belief. And that, times by a million different things that people have said or beliefs you've taken on, is what can make or break whether you have an enjoyable life or not.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because you said this before, and I have to, I agree with it 100%. I only ever have one regret when it comes to NLP, and that's that I didn't do it when I first found out about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it because I thought I couldn't afford it.
Mine was the same reason.
But then we all know, once you make that decision to do something, everything just happens.
Yeah.
We call it the walk.
It's like you say, how can I afford that? But then you got to also say to yourself, how can I not afford that?
Once you go through the training, that's when you realize that what you actually missed out on in your life, and you can't get that back.
No, I can't go back to when I was 21 now.
And that's priceless. So it's a big it's a really important for me to, Brian, you already know I'm on a mission to teach as many teachers as possible. So if some women are watching this, tell us a couple of things that they could do to allow them to step into that place of feminine power. What are some tips and hints you can?
So first thing to start with is what really changed, because I did depression for quite a few years, and this really changed my life, is if you're hunched and down like this and you say, oh, I'm really happy, how happy do you feel? If you stand like Wonder Woman, I'm actually going to do a video on Facebook about this. I've decided. You stand like Wonder Woman and hold your shoulders back and look up and say, I'm really sad. Yeah, nah, you can't be sad thinking of standing like Wonder Woman and stuff like that. So if you're feeling down or depressed or something like that, just lift your physiology, shoulders back, and breathing is important too. Like breathe deeply down into your belly, because if you breathe shallowly, that causes anxiety and a lot of other things. Breathing deeply, which is why I like meditation, because it makes me take the time. Because I take the time to meditate, I take the time to breathe.
Exactly.
And I actually have a thing on my phone that sends me a message a couple of times a day, and it just says breathe.
That's
and
good.
I just make sure I fix my posture and I breathe. And so, just set a reminder in your phone, set reminders for everything. I set reminders for drinking water. I set reminders for everything, because I also work for my partner in the office, and I want to get it all done so I can finish. And so I'm so focused on that, I just forget about everything else.
Absolutely.
And so the reminder's kind of like, oh, breathe, okay. And now I even get up and walk around, like a walk outside, and then it's too hot outside, so I go back in the air conditioning.
Anyone who's listening to this down south of Melbourne might be going, what is she talking about? It's too hot outside.
Yeah, well, I usually have the beach as my background. I didn't want to make everyone jealous, so I just I changed it for tonight.
We're jealous anyway.
Yeah, another tip I have is a lot of people talk about journaling, but they don't really know what they're doing. And you don't need, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just write what's in your head, get it out of your brain. If you're journaling about something that's past, you might find something pops up that you haven't dealt with. So if you know how to deal with it, deal with it. If you don't, get help dealing with it, especially if it's something big. Because everyone suppresses stuff like, oh, that's too hard, I'll suppress it down. And you know what? One day the volcano explodes and it's not pretty.
No.
So if you can work on stuff as it comes up, that's a good idea. And even better, journal future. So journal what you want. Journal the perfect day that you're going to have tomorrow. Journal how you're going to feel, what you're going to see. A lot of people just do like gratitude, and that's good too, but some people feel really pressured when they think, oh, what am I thankful for? So just journal, and you'll find that the gratitude comes out in it anyway.
Yeah.
Especially when something good happens. And like, it's not all just about positive thinking and all that airy fairy kind of stuff. And like we were talking about the other night, and Cameron mentioned to me today about doing affirmations. Affirmations have their place, and they're all very nice and whatever. But if you're just telling yourself something over and over again in the hopes that you're going to believe it, well, guess what? You don't believe it, which is why you're telling yourself these things.
Yeah.
And just doing affirmations isn't really going to cut it, or it's going to take a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot faster ways to get around it and about.
And that's one of the reasons why I discovered NLP and timeline therapy, because my affirmations didn't cut it.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
As you said, we were talking the other night, when you're saying affirmations, it actually presupposes, if you keep trying to convince yourself that you are good enough, you're actually saying, well, I'm saying this to myself because really deep down inside, I don't think I am.
That's right.
So
whereas if you can do some techniques like what we've learned, you actually believe that you are good enough, because, well, you are.
Absolutely.
And who are you to be saying you're not?
Exactly.
Because you know really deep down that you are. It's just all that crap that comes in from everybody else. Like, one of the best things I ever learned was, what other people think of me is none of my business.
Exactly right. So
and it's not, they can think what they like. Are they paying your bills? Are they living your life? They probably see things totally different than you.
Well, they would, and they're judging what you're doing according to their values, beliefs, and their perceptions. Doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no one's given us the rule book.
Nope.
Right, what's wrong? So we just go with it.
We're all just winging it.
Yeah, we are just all winging it, but you know what? That's okay, because these days we wing it a lot better than what we used to.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
Absolutely. So I know you're in Northern Queensland, up in Cairns.
Yes.
Those who are listening in Australia and know where that is. So how can people contact you, and how would you work with people moving forward?
Okay, so in Cairns, I do either face-to-face, or I still do Zoom, because some people just don't go out, or they don't want to leave their air conditioning. And if they're not close by, I work on Zoom. Anything I can do live, pretty much I can do on Zoom.
Yep.
Next year, I'm starting Women's Circle on Zoom.
Oh, wow, so fantastic.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun navigating that, but I'm really excited about it. It's something I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
And as you know, meditation is one of my passions. So as well as meditation being part of the Women's Circle group, I'm also looking at doing a 7-week meditation course.
Nice.
So
very nice.
I'm looking forward to that. But until then, I'm available for coaching.
Yes.
Breakthrough sessions, whatever you want to do. Just I'll have a 20-minute chat to you on the phone, work out what your goals are, what you're having problems with, if I can work with you, if you like me, and then we just go from there and work out where we go.
Perfect. And like we said before, guys, trust me, it will be the best investment that you have ever made in yourself. And both of us are not just saying that, we actually believe it.
That's right.
And that is why I do what I do. And, you know, because I can't explain it. I often say to potential students, I can't explain it to you until you've done it.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
mean,
you know, it's a completely different ballgame.
yeah, I get a buzz out of like doing other work and getting it right, and you know, oh yeah, I did that really well. But I get an extra special buzz out of helping people do it for themselves.
Oh yeah.
And learn how to do this for themselves, and when they have that massive breakthrough, or even the little ones, it's so exciting for me, because I think I helped someone change their life.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest buzz you can ever have.
Oh, there's nothing better, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So thank you so much. We have put your details into the chat box. But if anyone wants to contact you, all they have to do is let me know, and I can definitely put them in contact with you. It's
Great.
been an absolute pleasure to have you join us tonight, and to just show, I love all my, absolutely love all my, you know, guests. I'm trying to think, guests each, each week, right? But I have to admit, I do get a buzz from having, needless I say, more mature people in the room, because being a more mature person in the room, I like to show people what is actually possible for us. You know, because growing up, you know, like my mother, you know, she hit 50 and it was like the end of the world. And I was like, you kidding? I honestly going to say that my life began just after 50, a little bit later. And I'll never go back. And when you start living that best life, like I said before, doesn't mean things don't go wrong, but you just think, how could I have not done this before?
Yeah. And yes, things still go wrong, but you as you learn how not to react in certain ways, to take your time and think before you, well, hopefully don't react in a bad way, but react in a better way. It just makes life more pleasant for everybody.
Yeah. And once you get rid of those negative emotions and limiting belief,
it's
pretty much you don't ever
it's
react.
so much easier. I just can't believe what a changed person I am once I get rid of that anger and all that fear and sadness.
You know what? There's been so many trainings where I'll show a technique and people just look up and they go, is that it? And I go, that's it.
That's it.
So that's how easy it is. So again, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure having you as one of our guests, and I look forward to seeing you doing bigger and brighter things in the future.
And you will. Thank you very much for having me.